10 most powerful The Gilded Age characters after Season 3. Ranked? Tell me something. Did The Gilded Age Season 3 just completely rewrite New York's social hierarchy? Or did we just watch the most ruthless game of high society chess ever played? Because, my friends, after that finale I have questions. Like, how did Gladys Russell go from being Bertha's caged little songbird to literally becoming the Duchess of Buckingham? And how on earth did Ward McAllister, THE's so-called kingmaker, end up looking like a gossip columnist who got himself exiled from the very world he created? Oh, I know what you're thinking, Sophia. Are you seriously saying Gladys outranks Bertha now? Hold on. I'm not just saying it, I'm about to prove it. Because Season 3 wasn't just a season. It was a social revolution. And the bodies, metaphorically speaking, are still lying in the streets of Newport and Fifth Avenue. I've been covering The Gilded Age since before Bertha Russell ever threw her first ballroom tantrum. And I've got to tell you, what just happened in Season 3, that was war. Silent, smiling ball gown and teaspoon war. And if you think you know who's holding all the cards, you're wrong. D8 wrong. So, grab a glass of champagne. Or if you're Ward McAllister, maybe a different drink entirely, since you're not welcome at the table anymore. Because today, we're ranking the 10 most powerful characters in The Gilded Age after Season 3, from the fallen to the untouchable. And trust me, number 1 will shock you because she's not who anyone expected. Here's the thing. We were sold this idea that old money and new money were the ultimate clash in The Gilded Age. Astor versus Russell. Tradition versus ambition. But Season 3 quietly revealed a darker truth: power doesn't belong to old money or new money anymore. It belongs to those willing to risk either their family, their fortune, their reputation, sometimes even their lives. Think about it. George Russell nearly got himself killed for copper mines. Bertha sacrificed her marriage for status. Agnes van Rhijn lost her fortune and still managed to maintain her facade of control. And Gladys, she sacrificed her freedom to become what her mother always wanted. Duchess, yes, but one who now holds a key to an empire even Bertha can't touch. And that's where this list gets brutal. Because some of the people you love this season, they didn't just lose. They were erased, like Ward McAllister. Do you remember when he was the gatekeeper of society, when every invitation went through him? Now he's a ghost, invisible, powerless. And that's not just a story twist. That's a warning. In The Gilded Age, one misstep, one misplaced word, and you're finished. Period. So, let's break it down. Who climbed? Who fell? And who's secretly holding all the strings going into Season 4? As Fantant Ward McAllister, the fallen kingmaker. Let's start with Ward McAllister, the man who taught everyone how to play the game, only to forget the one rule that matters: you never, expose the hand that feeds you. Writing that tell-all book wasn't just a bad idea, it was career suicide. And in a society where reputation is currency, Ward is broke. Here's the forbidden truth: Ward's downfall isn't just personal. It signals the end of gatekeepers like him. The old guard of whispered secrets, and connections is dying, replaced by people like Bertha and Gladys who don't ask for permission. They take what they want. Ward's out. Permanently. Nonchus one makes me grin. Jack Trotter. Remember when he was just the Van Rhijn's humble footman? Now he's a 300,000 success story with an invention that made him a fortune. But here's the catch: wealth is one thing, staying wealthy in this Shark Tank is another. Secretly, I think Jack's Narvide is his biggest danger. He doesn't know that high society isn't just parties and polite smiles, it's a battlefield. And if he doesn't wise up fast, he's gonna end up another cautionary tale. But oh, the potential here. Imagine Jack teaming up with Larry Russell to shake the very foundations of New York's elite. That's not just a theory, it's almost inevitable. Agnes van Rhijn. Oh, Aunt Agnes, you may have lost your fortune, but you've still got the sharpest tongue in New York. Watching her son Oscar squander her wealth was painful. But let's be real, Agnes knows survival like no one else. She's like one of those old buildings that outlasts every new skyscraper. They can take away her money, but they can't take away her name. Here's something most viewers miss: at Agnes' quiet presidency of the New York Historical Society. That's not just charity work. It's influence disguised as respectability. She's still in the game, and if Season 4 gives her even the smallest opening, watch her destroy whoever underestimates her. And speaking of comebacks, Oscar van Rhijn. Who would have thought he'd make it back from disgrace? Season 3 gave us a reborn Oscar, one who's willing to play the long game. Partnering with Enid Winterton wasn't just survival, it was strategy. Here's the forbidden knowledge: nobody's talking about Oscar and Enid are about to become the most dangerous pair in New York. Why? Because they're playing a game Bertha doesn't even see coming. She's fighting for society balls and dukes. Oscar and Enid are fighting for financial dominance and financial power. That's the kind that lasts forever. Quick question for you guys. Be honest. Who do you think could actually take Bertha Russell down? Drop your theories in the comments, because I've got my eye on at least TWO characters we haven't talked about yet who are positioning themselves to do exactly that. And hey, if you've been with me since my Season 2 breakdown where I predicted Ward McAllister's fall from grace months before it happened. Yes, I'm shamelessly bragging here. You know I dig deep into this stuff. And if you're new here, hi, I'm Sophia, and you're watching Breakdown Epic, where we expose the secrets these shows try to hide. Seriously, subscribe right now, because what I'm about to reveal about Bertha and Gladys, it's gonna change how you see the entire series. So Larry Russell. Ah, Larry. The golden boy who finally proved he's more than just a handsome accessory at his mother's parties. Season 3 was Larry's coming of age, and he didn't just survive. He thrived. Saving the family fortune in Morenci wasn't just smart business. It was a declaration: I am not just my father's son. But here's what's really fascinating. Larry's choice of Marianne Brook as a potential bride. On paper, it's a disaster. She's penniless, she's stubborn, and she refuses to play the social climbing game. But that's exactly why Larry's dangerous. He's carving his own path. And here's the forbidden knowledge: if Larry marries Marianne, he could create something Bertha has never dreamed of. A legacy built on genuine partnership, not transactional alliances. That's revolutionary. And revolutions in the Gilded Age, they change ease now. I can't believe I'm saying this, but Ada Forte, formerly Ada Brook, is one of the most powerful women in New York. Yes, Ada, the quiet spinster who once hid in Agnes' shadow. Season 3 gave us Ada's transformation, and it was stunning. Widowed far too soon, she inherited Reverend Luke's fortune and became the financial backbone of the Van Rhijn household. Here's the emotional punch: Ada didn't just gain wealth, she gained authority. Even Agnes had to acknowledge Ada as the head of the house, and that's seismic. What's more, Ada's dabbling in movements like temperance and spiritualism might seem frivolous, but it's strategic. She's aligning herself with influential networks beyond high society. She's building power in spaces people like Bertha ignore. And Tiet, my friends, is how you outlast the giants. You go where they refuse to look. So Ms. Lena Astor, you've got to hand it to her. She's standing on a crumbling cliff, and still managing to look regal while the ground falls away beneath her feet. Season 3 nearly destroyed her. Her daughter's divorce linked her family name to scandal, and Bertha chipped away at her dominance event by event. But here's the thing about Mrs. Astor: she's a survivor in the true sense. Power isn't always about being on top. It's about staying alive when everyone wants you dead. Her secret: influence embedded so deeply in tradition that removing her would destroy the very society Bertha wants to control. She's the roots of the tree. And roots are hard to kill. Now we're in the top 3, and here's where things get messy. George Russell remains one of the most feared men in America. A titan of industry who can make or break fortunes with a single decision. But Season 3 exposed cracks in George's armor. Business threats, an assassination attempt, and, most damning of all, his growing resentment of Bertha. Let's be blunt: George is walking away from the very marriage that made him socially unstoppable. And that's not just gossip, it's catastrophic. Bertha's empire was built on their union. Without him, she loses her shield. But here's the forbidden truth that no one's talking about: George doesn't need society. Society needs him. If he chooses to weaponize his wealth against New York's elite instead of supporting it, he could bring the entire house of cards crashing down. Imagine a Season 4 where George becomes the enemy of high society. Delicious, right? Fine too. Bertha Russell, the empress on shaky ground. Ah, Bertha, the woman who clawed her way to the top, only to find the summit lonelier than she ever imagined. Season 3 should have been her triumph. She secured Gladys a duke, she outmaneuvered Mrs. Astor in Newport, and she hosted the ball of the season. But victory came at a price. Her son Larry distanced himself, her husband left her, and her daughter's marriage, while powerful, is loveless. Bertha may sit on the throne, but it's made of glass. Here's the most dangerous secret: Bertha still believes she's untouchable, and overconfidence is the one thing that can destroy her, because while she's fighting to maintain her crown, someone else has quietly surpassed her. And here we are, the top of the list, and I can feel half of you screaming at your screens right now. Sophia, how can Gladys outrank Bertha? Simply because Bertha's dream became Gladys' reality, and Gladys is playing a game her mother never understood. Gladys went from sheltered girl to Duchess of Buckingham. She's not just powerful in New York, she's powerful globally. Her marriage to Hector isn't just a title, it's a shield, a network, and soon, thanks to her pregnancy, a dynasty. And unlike her mother, Gladys has what Bertha never will: a partner who actually loves her. Here's the forbidden knowledge that flips the entire series on its head: Gladys doesn't need Bertha anymore. In fact, if Bertha overreaches, Gladys could crush her, and she wouldn't even need to raise her voice to do it. That's the new reality of the Gilded Age. The torch is passed, and Bertha doesn't even see it. Okay, deep breath. Where do you stand on this? Do you agree that Gladys has surpassed Bertha? Or do you think Bertha's about to pull off the comeback of the century in Season 4? Drop your theories below. I'm going to feature my favorite comments in our next video, because I know this debate is going to get heated. Also, side note, remember when I said back in my Season 1 breakdown that Gladys was the sleeper agent of the Russell family? I am now officially accepting all thank you notes for being psychic. Seek. Here's my final thought. The Gilded Age isn't just a drama about rich people throwing parties. It's a mirror. It shows us how power really works, quietly, ruthlessly, and sometimes heartbreakingly. And if Season 3 taught us anything, it's that the people you underestimate, they're the ones who win. I can't wait to see how Bertha reacts when she realizes her own daughter might be her greatest rival. And when that moment comes, you know I'll be here tearing it apart, detail by detail. So, hit that like button if you love seeing the mighty rise and fall, and subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter. Because trust me, what's coming next? It's going to be epic. And Bertha, if you're somehow watching this, Don't worry. We'll save you a seat at Glady's table.